What's going on, everybody? Welcome back or welcome to the Stephen Connor Show. I'm your host, Stephen Connor. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. Also hit that post notification bell so you can get notified whenever we upload a video. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. So today's episode is jam-packed. We recap NFL Week 17. We discuss Lions versus Vikings. Who do I think is the favorite to come out of the NFC? And we'll also do predictions for tonight's Raw debut on Netflix, which I'm a huge wrestling fan. As you can see from the last episode, it's about Tiffy time. It's Tiffy time. So we'll be discussing the 4 matches, and I'm going to kind of talk about some other things that I think might happen on the show as well. So without further ado, let's get started. I watched the Nick Wright, I believe. Yeah, I watched his podcast, What's Right with Nick Wright, or I think it's called that. Something like that. But he does a segment where he does things that don't make the cut on the episode, and it's a lot of stuff that happened. So I just want to acknowledge some of the things that happened in the NFL since we last spoke. It's a lot more that probably has happened. I haven't looked at my phone in a minute, so I do apologize, but I will cover it eventually because I am doing a video about every single NFL team. So if I don't cover it here, I'll cover it there. But the New England Patriots fired their head coach after he wins. From the statement they typed out, it looked like he was going to be fired whether he won or lost, because it looked like it was done yesterday or 2 days ago on Saturday. Aaron Rodgers throws for 500 TDs in possible last game. He joins the same club that Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, some all-time greats are in. Tyreek Hill requested a trade, then doubled down on it. It's not like he picked money over Patrick Mahomes, you know what I'm saying? Brock Bowers break NFL reception rookie record with 110. Malik Neighbors broke it earlier this season. That's crazy that it was broken twice in 1 year. Malik Neighbors is an absolute stud, and so is Brock Bowers. Too bad they're on 2 trash teams right now with no quarterbacks. 11 straight 1,000 seasons for Hall of Famer Mike Evans. That's right, he is in the Hall of Fame. He will be a Hall of Famer. And the Lions get the 1 seed in the NFC. Alrighty, y'all. So, let's recap real quick since the end of the season did happen. We're going to recap the NFL draft, the top 10 picks. I do want to tell y'all that my computer is right here. That's what you're seeing, so that's what I'm looking off of. So let's start off with the number 1 pick will go to the Tennessee Titans. The number 2 pick will go to the dysfunctional Browns. The number 3 pick will go to the Giants. The number 4 pick will go to the Patriots. They were supposed to have the number 1 pick, but they chose to win. The Jaguars, then it's the Raiders with the 6th pick, Jaguars 5th, the Jets with the 7th pick, the Panthers with the 8th pick, the Saints with the 9th pick, and the Bears with the 10th pick. So that's the top 10 in the NFL draft. The playoffs were also set, but we'll get into that in a minute. I want to recap to you real quick what happened in week 17, which is the finale for the NFL. So let's start off with the Browns lost to the Ravens 35-10. The Ravens clinched the NFC North. The Browns clinched the 2nd overall pick. Cincinnati beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cincinnati did not make the playoffs despite historic season. They had the league leader in passing yards, receiving yards, and sacks. And outside of Hendricks, that defense is atrocious. And I know they fired their defensive coordinator. I did see that. It's crazy how they wasted such historic MVP season from Joe Burrow. If this team made the playoffs, maybe Joe Burrow will be the MVP. Who knows? Also, the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's 3 things in life that's certain: death, taxes, and the Pittsburgh Steelers going 10-6. Yeah, they ended the season rough. They're looking for another first round exit. Okay, moving on. We had the Bears who defeated the Packers. We had the Giants who lost to the Eagles. The Jaguars lost to the Colts. The Texans backups beat the Titans starters. The Panthers beat the Falcons in a thriller of a game. Michael Penix has a bright future. Also, shout out Bryce Young. I do not understand for the life of me why they benched Bryce Young. That is beyond me why they chose to do that. And for the people who are doubting Bryce Young, he proved himself. That was one hell of a game. I watched it. I think you should go watch it. I went and watched the highlights. You should go watch it. The Bills lost to the Patriots. That got their head coach fired. The Commanders beat the Cowboys in a scrappy game. Shout out Marcus Mariota. The Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield clinch back-to-back playoff berths, back-to-back division titles. Not like he played for the Browns at one point. The Jets beat the Dolphins. The 49ers get blown out by the Cardinals. The Chargers take care of business with the Raiders. The Broncos shut out the Chiefs' backups. The Seahawks beat the Rams, and I believe the Rams' backups were playing. The Lions wore down the Vikings 31-9. Speaking of the 31-9 game, the Detroit Lions clinched the 1 seed in the NFC. Shout out to them. They finished the year 15-2. This was a really interesting game because it was a combined 28-4 record between the two teams. And yeah, we expected the Lions to be good, but I didn't expect them to be this good. But nobody expected Minnesota to be this good. And I'm going to go more into detail on the individual video for Minnesota when I go over their review of their season and what they need to improve on in the offseason. But going into this, J.J. McCarthy, they had just ended the Kirk Cousins era, and J.J. McCarthy, they drafted him to be the future of this team, and then he goes down, he gets injured, he's out for the year, and then they went to Sam Darnold, and all these analysts, including myself, wrote them off. Yet they're sitting here with a really great record, and they made the playoffs, and they were almost the 1 seed and almost won their division. So shout out to them. But basically what happened in this game is Sam Darnold looked uncomfortable. He might have been seeing ghosts again, who knows. But with all honesty, he looked very uncomfortable. When I first thought it was 10-9, it was a good defensive matchup. We expected it to be high scoring, but it really wasn't for the most part till the end. But then both defenses stepped up. However, they were able to lock down Jefferson, Hockenson, make Darnold uncomfortable, completely rush him. They played man-to-man with Justin Jefferson, and it worked because of how they blitzed Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold looked so uncomfortable, and both defenses did a good job, but the Lions did better because their offense adjusted, and then their offense just did what they do best, and they just put on a masterclass at the end. So shout out to the Lions, and they are the 1 seed in the AFC. In the NFC. They're the 1 seed in the NFC. Let's look at the schedule for the playoffs because I will have playoff predictions coming out soon. So, we have the Chargers versus the Texans, Steelers versus the Ravens, divisional rematch. We have the Broncos versus the Bills. We have the Packers versus the Eagles, and we have the Commanders versus the Buccaneers, and we have the Vikings versus the Rams. Of course, the Chiefs and the Lions receive a first round bye. And also, I just want to note that the Detroit Lions absolutely swept their division this year, which the NFC North has to be the best division in football, hands down. Like, hands down, the NFC North has to be the best division in football. I really do think so. They have 3 really good teams. The Bears had such high expectations this year. I don't think some of them was realistic. I saw some people saying they was going to the Super Bowl. I saw some people say they were going to win the division. I didn't have that many high, but I thought they could at least finish with a winning record. But no, after that Hail Mary from Jaden Daniels, their season turned upside down. Anyway, the last thing I want to talk about today and discuss is I want to talk about the Raw premiere on Netflix. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be absolute pure cinema. And what a time to be alive as a wrestling fan. So real quick, I'm not going in any particular order, but Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre. Yeet. Shout out Jey Uso. Drew McIntyre had one hell of a year last year. I loved his rivalry with CM Punk. However, you have to give the win to Drew McIntyre. He's on a bloodline hunting spree right now, and I think maybe he'll clash with Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber, or at some point, I think that's where the story is headed, a heel Drew McIntyre versus a tweener or babyface Roman Reigns, whatever you want to think Roman Reigns is, either a tweener or a face. That would be an interesting story, but you gotta give Drew McIntyre the win here. We have the women's world title match: Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. They've stretched this story out for over a year, and this is the end, I believe, of the story. I hope it is. Yeah, I'm getting sick of this storyline, kind of, sort of. So I'm kind of glad it's over with. But I think Rhea Ripley is going to defeat Liv Morgan. And then maybe, hey, Charlotte or Becky Lynch or Charlotte, even though I really want Charlotte to go to SmackDown and face Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania. But maybe Becky Lynch will cost Liv Morgan the match and then help her lose the title. Or maybe Rhea Ripley would just win clean, and then Liv Morgan comes out. Becky Lynch comes out and then confronts Rhea Ripley, or who knows? I just think that this is going to end with Rhea Ripley on top, with Mommy on top, her getting her revenge, and we'll see what's next. Next up, we have Tribal Combat for the Ula Fala in the title of Tribal Chief, which is Roman Reigns, the original and the only Tribal Chief, versus Solo Sikoa. I love you, Solo, the current Ula Fala holder, the current Tribal Chief, depending on who you ask. I think this match is going to end with Roman Reigns becoming the Tribal Chief, the head of the table again, like him actually having the Ula Fala. But then The Rock is going to come out, because The Rock is confirmed to be on this show. And then The Rock is going to tell him, you might be that, but I'm the High Chief. You acknowledge me. And that's how we start the Rock and Roman storyline. That's what I think is going to happen. Last but not least, we have CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. Woo, this is a good match. I thought they would save this for WrestleMania. Who knows? Maybe this is like a fluke and this really isn't going to happen, or it's going to end with a disqualification. Who knows? At first, I had a gut feeling that Seth Rollins was going to win, but I think CM Punk is going to win, because isn't this like his first match on Raw in like forever? Like 11 years or something crazy. So I do think that CM Punk is going to get the win. However, I think Seth Rollins is going to turn heel. Seth Rollins is going to turn heel. I heard rumors that him, Drew McIntyre, and Kevin Owens are going to start a stable. I do think Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens are going to start tag team, though, because they both talking about watch their back. So, but CM Punk versus Seth Rollins is going to be mwah. This is going to chef's kiss. Tonight is going to be chef's kiss, period. We're going to have debuts, a lot of returns. John Cena will be here. It's going to be an amazing night. This is what a time to be alive as a professional wrestling fan, honestly. For the NFL, the WWE, NBA, this is such a great time. College football, I feel so electrifying talking about sports right now. So fun and so passionate. But ladies and gentlemen, I think Seth Rollins is going to turn heel. He's either going to win and turn heel, or he's going to lose, and that's going to make him turn heel. So my prediction is Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch return, Roman Reigns, The Rock turns on Roman, maybe Paul Heyman too. CM Punk beats Seth Rollins, but Seth Rollins turns heel, and Drew McIntyre defeats Jey Uso. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, you let me know what you think down below in the comment section down below. And until next time, which is tomorrow, we'll recap Netflix on Raw. Be good people. I got a lot of content coming out. Playoff predictions, college football, and the NFL, so stay on the lookout for that. But that's it for me for today, y'all. Alrighty. Peace.